Jimmy and JoAnne, the deep state never sleeps. And there are some particular individuals who they don't give up. You've told us in the past about this guy. Is it Bernard Levy?
Yes. Yeah. Henry Bernard Levy, or Bernard Henry Levy. I don't know what his name is.
We'll sort it out.
He's a French billionaire, Satanist, Khazarian mafia. And he and old John McCain were running buddies. Every time you saw those two bastards go into a country, the next week there was going to be some kind of a revolution or a war started or whatever. And he's just really a sorry piece of garbage. And when he was in Libya in 2011, he went in there and raped a whole bunch of young Libyan girls. And his purpose was to have his seed in Libya, so he could declare that he was a Libyan. And the girls that were raped by him and the other guys, they really
they didn't claim the babies.
No, they were left on the side.
They were left on the doorsteps.
How do we know? These are serious allegations. How do we know these things?
We know it because we were there, and the tribes told us. And there were girls that came forward.
We were there when this was going on, Jason, and we had a lot of interviews with young girls. Well, he's not a young guy, but he's probably 60.
He was 10 years younger, in 2011.
Good point.
But he's a Zionist. He's a Khazarian Zionist. He's French. He encouraged Sarkozy to go in and blow up Libya. He was with John McCain in there. He is in the front of all these countries that have been destroyed. He was at the Ukraine. He's been in Syria. He's in
Kosovo.
He's in Kosovo. Every time there's a blow up, he's right there leading the charge, to destroy these countries. And he came into Libya unbeknownst to the Libyans on a private plane on the 25th. Nobody knows why he came in. Whoever invited him in is denying it now.
Yeah.
25th of July? Just the other day?
25th of July.
And all those guys with him are Mossad agents.
He brought in Mossad agents with his to guard him, because I don't know if he thought he was going to be in there and be, oh boy, this guy led our revolution, and which was all phony anyway. And he wasn't welcomed even by a lot of the Mizrata people who were with him in 2011. They now hate him, and they told him he wasn't welcome there. He tried what he came in to do. A couple of things. What the Libyans are telling me, he came in to try and foment another revolution, if you will, because they're worried about Egypt. Egypt taking back and giving Libya back their country.
Now, where this information came from is inside the Mizrata mercenaries. There are some loyal Libyans that are in there as fifth columnists, and so they hear what's going on and everything. And his intent, when he stood up there and gave a speech about what he was going to do, and he started performing what the Libyans called black magic. What it was Satanist rituals in Mizrata, and he was going to reinitiate the takeover of Egypt for the whoever, Muslim Brotherhood, etc., and Libya.
Libya and Egypt.
He was going to start another phony war like was started in 2011. And a lot of the people in Mizrata they have been enjoying all the wealth of the militias that they've been stealing Libya blind. They were so upset about this because black magic, Satanism, and stuff like that, they never ever bought into that.
Even the GNA put out a thing: whoever invited this guy in is going to be arrested. We want to know who it is. Even the GNA. So
he's a piece of garbage.
One of the things he wanted to do was go to Tarhuna.
Yeah.
Tarhuna is that town. It's a suburb of Tripoli, where when the Libyan National Army left, the GNA militias went in and killed all those people and you remember that? They stole everything from their homes and everything. Right. He was going to go there to take pictures and say that this is the Gaddafi followers who did it, and he's still angry at Gaddafi for the destruction he did of Libya. All these are lies. I mean, this has nothing.
The opposite.
Opposite was true, And so he was in an armored vehicle on his way to Tarhuna, and the people of Tarhuna, including some of the militias, stood in the road and fired at him and would not let him in.
Wow.
And so
he's not very popular.
No, he had to go back and leave, but before he left, he tweeted out that he was witness to the mass graves of the deaths created by Muhammad, which is, he's calling Gaddafi, which is all, just so absurd. It's the opposite. But when he did that, everybody said he never got in. The tribes called me immediately. He said, please report that he never got to Tarhuna. He never saw anything. The graves that are there were created by the GNA militias, not by any of the Libyan army that left willingly as part of an agreement with the Berlin Conference for peace in Libya. So he tweeted that out, and then he deleted it. But the Libyans have, I have it for our show. I'm going to show it to him, the tweet that he did.
Also, where was he egged? He and his security people were egged
at the airport, I think.
Yeah, was it?
And they at the airport. This is at the airport, and there's that picture that's there. They're trying to say that's by mass graves. This is at the Misrata airport.
It's just a pile of dirt.
It's just it's all lies. They're trying to foment the same psyops, the same lies that they created to attack Libya in 2011. They have a great fear that they're going to lose Libya, and they are going to lose Libya.
You're talking about the bad guys.
Talking about the bad guys, yes.
Well, it's interesting that just his presence there alone is creating an uproar. It's pretty rare that you have an individual who travels to a country, and just the fact that so many people hate him makes the news. We're going to go into some depth about this guy, who he is, what he's doing there in Libya, when we start our sponsor-exclusive show on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I think we got the microphone close to the speaker or something today, because I can hear it coming back. But
everything is switched around a little. This is too close to me. I think the microphone's too close to me.
We'll worry about it later.
Okay.
But, I wanted to just mention, it was interesting. I had a phone call earlier today. Vimeo, who provides the video service for our sponsor-exclusive shows, they said that Crowdsource the Truth is using so much data that I've just totally blown out the unlimited program, and they have a new program for me with dramatically higher cost. So for now, I don't want that to affect anything in terms of the people who watch the shows and the sponsors who subscribe, but I do hope that people will join us. It's really very important that people sponsor the co-hosts on Crowdsource the Truth. People can learn more about Jimmy and JoAnne by going to their free website, LibyanWarTheTruth.com. Lots of posts on there, and people can also get the Escape from Al-Qaeda DVD. Patreon sponsors who join Jimmy and JoAnne on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty can get the DVD with free shipping. So you're going to save $5 on the shipping. It's a $15 DVD, and it's a great way to support Jimmy and JoAnne. So in addition to, it's interesting that they refer to this guy as an intellectual, a writer. What is it that he really does? Why is a writer going to Libya and creating all this uproar?
It's a lie. Who owns the media, Jason? So they can call him whatever, but I mean, what he is.
They call him a journalist. They call him a poet. They call him all kinds of things. But all he is a fomenter of problems.
New World Order.
New World Order, yeah.
He's Khazarian Mafia. He's the George Soros of France. I mean, he is so infamous worldwide. We don't know about him here, but believe me, the Libyans look at him and they say he's the guy.
They call him
hand in hand with John McCain, Obama, and Hillary.
They call him
that destroyed their country.
The Black God. They call him Satan. They call him. They say wherever he goes, blood follows.
And where he busted his britches this trip is he went there and started doing, I guess, Satanist. The Libyans didn't know what it was. They thought it was some kind of black magic, which they don't like at all. But what it was Satanist rituals he was performing. He was calling, evil spirits in to do his bidding, and he's a bad guy.
Now he's saying that sorry, JoAnne, you guys have told me in the past some details about the visas that you obtained, that it was super difficult. Here's an article in the Libya Observer saying that he entered Libya with a visa obtained by the newspaper. Something about that sounds not quite straight to me.
Does that say Libyan Observer? Is that what you're looking at, Jason? Yeah, that's a rat newspaper.
Yeah,
that's a bunch of business.
But you got to realize who owns all the media: George Soros and company, and Soros is a Khazarian Mafia hand in hand with this guy. So whatever. Don't expect the media, except for you and some others, to tell the truth. But this guy is a worldwide terrorist, period. And he has caused war, death, destruction. Every place he's set his sorry foot on the ground, there's been blood that follows. He's a bad guy.
It's amazing, right? It looks like you could just slap him and he would hit the ground.
Yeah. Well, believe me, nobody gets close enough.
That's why he brought in all those Mossad agents to protect him.
Right.
He traveled in an armored vehicle. There's a lot of pictures of him in
Israel.
Yeah. He traveled in an armored vehicle. How it got to Libya is a big question, you know. But they did not let him approach Tarhuna. So his plan to be there 2 or 3 days and really stir the pot and try to get everybody interested in again having a destruction of Libya didn't take place. But he's also trying to, he was doing black magic. He's trying to start a revolution in Egypt again. It's a bad guy.
And this is why they just want to control the oil, steal all the resources, obviously.
Well, because they want to control Libya 100%. There's so much natural wealth there that they don't want to let it go. Turkey wants it. They don't mind if Turkey has it, I guess. They're going to work with Turkey, but Turkey's not going to get it because the Libyan army came out today and said, we're not going to have any more talks until Turkey leaves our soil. We're not having any discussions with Turkey. They have fallen over on every agreement that they made, and we took our part and did our part, and they didn't. They just caused more war.
Jason, what everybody has to realize is this is the final push of the bad guys, the New World Order, One World Order, Khazarian Mafia, Zionists, criminals, Satanists. This is their final push. COVID-19 is a hoax. The video we put out last week, there were 194 countries that signed on to this exercise. And those 194 countries, it shows you how much control the bad guys have over 194 countries, that they would allow their economies to be destroyed, completely destroyed over an exercise. And they're continuing to do this. All this crap, everything you see, COVID-19, it's bullshit. COVID-19 is a cold, it's a flu, it's nothing. But it follows their plan. It follows the contract that they made with 194 countries. Then the Rockefeller Institute report in 2010. Then the 2014 eugenics agreement. And then Event 201. All this follows. This has all been detailed.
I want to clarify, though, Jimmy, because when we make the broad statement that it's a hoax, I think a lot of people don't interpret that the way that you mean it. My impression is that there is a pathogen, but it's been deliberately injected. It was developed by maybe some labs. We've got investments from Bill Gates all over the place. It seems like they know where it's going to hit, when it's going to hit. If Texas says, hey, it's no problem, then the news reporting becomes, oh, no, it's a huge issue.
No, Jason, you're wrong. What it is
flu vaccines.
Is numbers. It's numbers. They're paying the hospitals to say somebody's got COVID-19 when they don't have it. They're paying the hospitals to say they died of it.
But isn't it possible, Jimmy, that these viral particles that are detected by the test are being injected into people through flu vaccines and things like that? So virtually anybody could test positive for it?
It's not a deadly epidemic. It never was. This doesn't even rate highly as an annual flu.
Last week we brought something out from a pathologist, a big one in Europe, and he said they've got one death attributed to COVID.
Not one.
Not one.
This is all a hoax. This is an exercise. They've admitted it. They have admitted it. They've admitted it. So if they've said that, and it's an exercise, and we've seen the contract last week, the numbers and details of the contract, 194 countries signed up for this exercise, where they're going to take a normal flu and they were going to expand it into something to lock down the world. They were going to see how much control they could exercise over people. How many of our liberties would we allow to be taken away? Just like 9/11. Look at all the liberties they took away from 9/11. So this is the final takeaway to remove our liberties. And we're going to give them up?
They got a lot of them. That's right.
And
yeah, I mean, it's too late. You can't. Somebody got thrown off of an airplane the other day for not wanting to wear a face mask. So, I mean,
it's
that
time
liberty.
The people push back.
Yeah, people need. Did you see what happened to Walmart? Their sales dropped 62% when they enforced a mask.
Wow!
On nationwide, 62%. So they have backed off. They said we're going to serve anybody with or without a mask, and it's not our people. our people are not trained to enforce these kind of things, and there's confrontations happening, and they don't want any people to get hurt, and so they backed way off. They said,
there's no politician, no government official anywhere in the United States or literally in the world they're doing anything for the people. This is a control exercise. This is a final takeover. This is New World Order. They've destroyed the businesses. Restaurants are never going to open again in a lot of parts of the country. In California, they've outlawed any kind of worship
in your home.
The Supreme Court went against it, right? They said you can open the booze, but not the church.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, you know, the companies that are allowed to stay open, liquor stores and stuff like that. Oh, and in D.C., that governor there, that genius piece of garbage, said, you know, all government officials and all politicians are exempt from masks.
The mayor,
so I guess they have a smart virus that won't attack them.
You know, really, it's in your face. It's in your face.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it is. And it's almost like a test. Is let's see if we lie to them, and then we tell them we're lying to them, see if they'll still do it. See, it's a test.
To see who's in it and who they can, you know, easily control. Did you guys happen to see my short encounter with Eric Schmidt yesterday? Yeah. When he saw me, he put the mask on, but his nose was poking out and he was acting like a jerk. I didn't want to post the video on YouTube because, you know, as the former CEO of Google, I think he still probably has some connections over there, but people who are sponsors on Subscribestar and Patreon can see what I had to say to this guy. It's amazing how these people think they can make us do, you know, they don't have to do it, but we have to put on masks, and you gotta quarantine when you go here.
Jason, that's the shocking part. People do it.
Look, I'm going to give you an impression. When he walked away from you, that's one guy you never want to drop the soap in the shower around him.
But didn't you notice, Jimmy, he had this smug look on his face because he had taken a picture of me.
On his face.
I think he's going to use that for facial recognition, so he knows whose YouTube channel should be shut down and where to send the goons and everything. But did you also notice, former CEO of Google, he was using an iPhone. What does that say about Android?
Yes.
There you go.
They're all hypocrites anyway, Jason. They're all fraud.
Listen, none of them developed any of the technologies. They got it from government entities or other one. You know, I've said this before. The stuff that Microsoft got, they didn't develop any of that. That was all taken from other developers, and the government helped pass it on to them. They don't. If you tried to get Bill Gates to program a child's toy, he couldn't do it. Elon Musk never developed anything. All Elon Musk's developments is DARPA, 100%.
PayPal when he was a kid.
There you go.
Yeah. How about when he was called out on pulling a coup in Bolivia for the what did they use for lithium?
Lithium.
Lithium. A lady. He got called out on Twitter. A lady said, "Yeah, you don't have any problem going into a country and pulling a coup to get your lithium." And he wrote back, he tweeted back, he said, "Listen, we'll coup anybody we want to."
What? I didn't know anything about that.
It's all over the net.
Holy cow.
All this great technology paid for by the taxpayers here or their printing presses and delivered to their favorite, and all those guys are gazillionaires.
Well, this thing says it's a crazy conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah, but it's been all over Facebook. His actual tweet is there.
Yeah.
And then the lady who tweeted back to him, and then he said, "We'll coup anybody we want."
It's really easy for them to say, "Oh, we never said that." It's a lie because they own the media. But, you know, the things that we see when it comes out like this Bernard Levy, he passed out this bullshit statement that he was in Tarhuna and he saw this. They called him out on it, and within an hour he pulled his tweet.
Yeah, but the Libyans had copied it, and it was all over the media by that time.
Listen, everybody's got a gut. Your gut feeling will tell you the truth. And if you see these people lying to you, and I'm talking about all the government officials, when they lie to you in your face, who in the world would ever believe anything the government says? They lie and lie and lie, and all of a sudden COVID-19, we got to believe everything they say.
Trust the gut, Jimmy.
Wake up.
Yeah. I follow George Carlin. You know, his number one rule. Don't believe anything the government says. Zip, zero.
Yeah.
That's what George Carlin said.
Rule. He was hilarious
Yeah.
for sure. But we're going to be talking about a lot of things in addition to Bernard Levy, in addition to COVID-19. You guys have gotten into a regular practice of preparing these organized PDF documents that are essentially a show guide and a collection of this week's news that you've assembled from information from the tribes, and people who are sponsors of Jimmy and JoAnne on Patreon are going to be able to access that document and download it. We're going to go through it during the sponsor exclusive segment in just about 10 minutes, so everybody gets to see it, but it's a little bit of an added convenience for people who are sponsoring Jimmy and JoAnne. And we've got just a couple more minutes here. What else you guys want to cover tonight?
Well, the format we're using, I spend about 100 hours a week researching, and I use all kinds of different sources, and I put links to all of it. We can't cover all of it in detail. So I try to hit the highlights in our regular show. JoAnne, of course, she concentrates on Libya, and of course, with this corona hoax, you know, there's a lot of information, and people need to really look at all the detailed information we give them. Go and dig it up yourself. Look at what we're putting out, and then make a determination, because we're down to the point of all of us. We can look at this bell curve, and everybody in the middle has to make a decision, because they're taking away all our liberties. They're making us give them up. And if you want to live like a slave, or if you want to live in the worst state of communism or socialism or whatever, then just let them keep on doing what they're doing. If not, if this country's worth anything to you, if you want something left for your kids and grandkids, then we all have to pay attention. We have to make a decision and stand up.
You're right, Jimmy. I mean, as I walk around New York City, it's a disaster.
We have one article, Jason, where the retailers, the business people in New York says New York is now the worst place in the world to do business. We've got the link to that on our regular show.
Yeah.
And restaurants that have closed are never going to open up again. Some restaurants that were hoping to go back, and there was one that's a kind of a slushy shop or something like that, and they said they were hoping to get a big bump because their bills had piled up so much, and they have no hope of ever coming back. So, you know, there's a terrible thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's happening all over the place. So we'll get into detail on these and other concerns. I know a lot of people are interested to hear what this guy, Bernard Henri Levy, is doing there, creating quite a dust up. So we'll see everybody in just a couple of minutes on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Get on there now, because this new price structure is, I don't even want to talk about it. That's how crazy it is. I'm hoping it won't affect the bottom line in terms of causing me to have to increase the price of subscriptions. We're going to leave everything where it is right now. For as little as $2 a month, people get access to a huge library of sponsor exclusive shows. And of course, people who sponsor Jimmy and JoAnne are going to enjoy that discount on the DVD. So we'll see you guys in just about 5 minutes on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching.
JoAnne's up to over 11,000 followers on our Vimeo channel.
Wow.
11,000?
Yeah. 11,000.
I don't pay any attention to it. People just go and sign up.
That's great.
We'll
see everybody over there.
Fix this.